Students, we have talked about the continuous review policy and periodic review policy. Now, let us debrief them in detail. So, first of all, we will be taking the continuous review system. Continuous review system would have different policies in it. The first policy which we will be discussing would be the RQ policy. We have discussed it before, but let us look at the detail. It will actually refresh your mind regarding and you will dig in deep about such kind of policies. RQ policy, the EOQ production lot size and plant shortages model assume that inventory levels are continuously monitored. So this is one of the important assumptions in every EOQ or its variation model which we have discussed, that items would be continuously monitored. So items are sold one at a time. You can call this a queue system if you can recall that in one of the examples we take it as queue system. Queue system was for the continuous review policy, whereas P system was for the periodic review policy. So above models call for order point, that is the reorder point R, and the order quantity Q. Such policies can be implemented by a point of sale computerized system or a two-bin system. You can, if you know something about the two-bin system is such that in one bin, if your front bin is actually empty, so you will put up some kind of a Kanban card on it, and the second bin will actually fill it up. So even at the critical level, if it reaches that point of time, if it reaches the minimum level of inventory, you can also fill that. So it is a kind of a two-bin system. The second policy would be the RM policy. When items are not necessarily sold one at a time, the reorder point might be missed and out of stock situation might occur more frequently. If you see RQ policy have one reorder point, that is R. And what you do, you replenish at that reorder point with quantity Q. But it can happen that the reorder point is being missed, or sometimes inventory is not sold one at a time. So it would not be like that. In 1 week, if I say 20 units would be sold of that inventory and my Q is, let's say, 20, and after that the reorder point comes, let's say those units were not sold, or the units were not sold at as you forecasted. So then you could have extra stock with you. What RM policy would actually do, it is the order to level R may be implemented, and it could be implemented for the situation where your inventory would be replenished up to a predetermined level M. So the order quantity Q will be equal to Q star plus R, the reorder point, minus the inventory position I, which actually translates into M, the predetermined level, minus the safety stock, plus the reorder point minus the inventory position at that point of time. So each time the inventory falls to the reorder point R or below, you will be ordering this Q. Now note that there is a con of it. There is a disadvantage. The disadvantage would be the order size would be varying from one cycle to another. So if you say, let's say my against RQ policy, RM policy would be different. If you are a retailer and you are placing an order to the manufacturer, then what will happen? If you are using RQ policy in a continuous review system, the manufacturer would know what is your Q, because it is before it is known to it, because ये reorder point है, इतनी quantity, let's say 600 units, ये मैंने हर time replenish करनी है. But here in RM policy, this is not the case. Every time your Q would be different, because it depends upon the predetermined level M as well as the inventory position I. तो inventory position I जैसे organization की हर month में same नहीं हो सकती, या it is highly unlikely that it would be similar at every month or every period of time. So manufacturer will be getting different Q every time. So it can create a bit of an issue. So there are advantages, there are disadvantages of RQ policy and RM policy. Yes, it would be depending upon the enterprise that which kind of policy they are using in continuous review system. Obviously, RQ policy goes for some constant inventory levels, whereas RM policy, your every time what you order, that Q will actually differ with M and your inventory position. Thank you.